lads, give your heart and soul. Run lads, shoot lads, give us all a go. Run lads, shoot lads, you can do it yet. Come on Newport County, oh, bang it in the net.
Hello everybody, welcome to Taff's Word, and today it is not something that, you really call, about our current performance and our current state of, of affairs, shall we say. This is around, I'm going to mention a few things about our ownership model and the potential future of the club, but this is in direct response to our own supporters and our comparison of our football club to that of Wrexham. Now, Wrexham are obviously having a successful season in their own division, and obviously in the cup. They had a successful cup run where they were knocked out by Sheffield United, which was great to see, of course. Now, I've stated on record my dislike for Wrexham many a time, and that's mainly down to personal experience dealing with them. Now, they're a local club. Not a local club as in local close, but local as in fellow Welsh club, but is a north and south divide. So it's a north versus south derby, as we say, a Welsh derby whenever we play against them. Now, I don't particularly like them. The way that we've been treated up there as supporters has been horrendous in the past. Our own fans have been beaten up by their police without any aggravation or any warning for it. Wrexham fans were laid out at the same time as us. They came round to start trouble with us. Their police then formed a line, pulled out their batons and turned to us, and then proceeded to start beating our supporters without provocation and kicking them while they were down. And that was one of other things, where we've had coins thrown at us and things like that, and no protection on the streets. Where when we played them in the cup game, we felt that unsafe. I was there with family and stuff like that, and we had to walk through what I could only describe as potential. I don't even know what it was, but it was like a housing quarter, possibly for students. We had to walk through there and come out up by the retail park that we were parked in, and we felt very, very unsafe. Obviously, we've had Wrexham fans wishing our club to die again over social media, and a number of them, not just a minority, but a lot of them. We sang Just Like the Playoffs Is Happening Again when we beat them 4-0 in the cup a few years ago. That sent us on our famous cup run where we ended up playing against Man City. Obviously, they were a bit bitter because they lost. Yeah, okay, I get that. But to say, when we're saying Just Like the Playoffs Is Happening Again, it's like, well, just like 1989, let's hope that happens again. Yeah, not very nice. I wouldn't wish them dead. I wouldn't wish a football club to die. It's different. Obviously, you'd have sympathies for a football club or non-sympathy when, like the likes of Bury, when they overspent and sent themselves into non-existence. They overspent on players, got themselves promoted, and then had to fall because of that. I don't want to have. I sympathise for the fans, but not for the hierarchy of the football club. Now, what's happening at Wrexham obviously is remarkable. You can't get away from that. It's a remarkable thing. Two Hollywood owners have come in, and and fair play to them. They've done a lot of good for the club and for Wrexham as a whole. Now, that's something you've got to respect, and I do respect that. I respect Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. I respect them both for the interest that they're taking in the game. They're not just doing it for a hobby. They're invested emotionally and financially invested in this, and you've got to hold your hands up and say that's a really good thing. So the people of Wrexham must be really pleased by what's going on there. But I believe they're getting a little bit too big, for their boots with it now, as if they have some kind of entitlement because they've got this documentary, which I refuse to watch, not because I'm not interested in what's gone on there. I am interested, but a lot of people are coming off it saying, oh, I really like Wrexham now because of it. I don't want to like Wrexham, so I'm not going to give myself a reason to like Wrexham, so I'm not going to watch it. But I respect the people involved. But what I don't respect is the football club in itself, historically. The way that they've been about us, the bitterness, because, the capital cities in South Wales, and they seem to feel they have an entitlement to have international matches played in North Wales. I get that North Wales is difficult to travel to, but, You know, you look at England, you know, they play their matches at Wembley. They play the odd ones up north, the odd ones, friendlies and things like that, or Nations League games. And to be honest with you, yeah, I'm not against Wrexham hosting when their stadium is right for it, of course. You know, because their stadium ain't right for it right now. But once it's fully done, yeah, I'm not against, you know, lesser games being played there. But ultimately, the capital city has got to host the main games, you know, like the qualifiers and everything like that, the main qualifiers or the big Nations League games or the big friendlies. If we ever got to play against likes of France or Argentina or Brazil or somewhere like that in a friendly, that's got to be in Cardiff. In England, you've got Northern Englanders who travel down to London for England games, you know, people from Newcastle, Doncaster, you know, Liverpool, Manchester, Carlisle even. They'll travel down to London to watch England. And they don't moan that more games should be played up north. So the same, you know, I mean, Wrexham have got a lot less miles to travel than the likes of who I've just mentioned for them to go and watch Wales games. And fair play to a lot of them, they do come down, and a lot of them won't whinge about it. And fair play to them. But the capital city is Cardiff. You know, I'm Newport, I don't particularly like Cardiff, but we have to accept the capital city is Cardiff. And yeah, I know it's quite an advantage for me because we're only 12 miles away from Cardiff in Newport. But, you know, by the by, capital city's Cardiff. If you've got the advantage of your location, then that's fine. But what I'm going to get to now, right, I've said my piece about Wrexham. I don't like them as a football club because of my personal experiences, you know, going there and having them here. Also for the fact that, you know, there's a double standard there when you had the outrage of Wrexham for Chester fans mocking during a minute's silence the death of someone connected to Wrexham. Now, I don't condone that one little bit. That's sick in the head. You know, you respect a minute's silence for someone who's died, and, you know, you have a go at the people who are still in the living then if you want to, you know, promote your rivalry, or if you want to get one over, you know, your rivals, that's fine. But don't mock the dead. Now, Wrexham fans before that, during a Chester game at Wrexham, unveiled a banner. Now, obviously, a group of supporters, a large group of supporters, unveiled a large banner that they'd obviously paid to either make themselves or get somebody else to make it. It looked like they made it themselves, and it said 2 dead fans and 1 dead club. So Wrexham fans were outraged at Chester, but forget that. You know, where 1 or maybe 2 Chester fans sang something about this person being in a box, which is sick in the head. But a group of Wrexham fans made this banner to mock 2 dead supporters. So Wrexham as a football club don't get an awful lot of respect from me. And now we've got Newport County supporters basically saying that they're miles ahead of us. No. They're not, for one, because they're still in the non-league. They've not been promoted yet. Everyone's saying they'll piss League Two. Well, Forest Green were in a relegation battle in their first season when they had money and they got promoted. Salford were down towards the bottom end in their first season and they're still stuck in this division. Forest Green have eventually got promoted. They've worked out how to use their money right. But there's absolutely no guarantee that Wrexham will get promoted because they're under different FFP rules when they get promoted to the Football League. You know, there's a certain salary cap rule as well that they can't break. So they can't just pay League One players to just join them and, you know, don't worry about the wages because the owners will cover that. They're not going to have the same luxury when they get to League Two. They got to spread their money a bit more thinner. Some of them players who are on stupid money, I'd imagine Paul Mullins on stupid money. He's a League One. Well, the thing is, he's a failed League One player. He was the League Two top scorer, but he's a failed League One player, and there's even Wrexham fans entitling him to a call up to the Welsh squad. He's a non-league player. Whatever standard he is playing non-league football every week. He's not playing against the standard of player week in, week out for him to be ready to take on international footballers. No chance. So, you know, so this entitlement pisses me off with Wrexham. This Newport County envy, I don't envy them one little bit, you know, because they're still in non-league. We still beat them in 2013, and they've been stuck in non-league since while we've been enjoying Football League football. So we would have completed our, well, it would be our 9th or 10th season of Football League with them playing in non-league the whole time. I'm not envious of them at all. You know, they are who they are. They got to live with themselves, you know, with the shit that they pulled in the past, you know, and the shit that they've said to people. They got to live with that. They got to live with themselves. Now, I'm not saying every Wrexham fan is bad. I mean, Spirit of 58, Tim Williams, great guy. Bootlegger, Carl Phillips, he's a great guy. So I'm not saying that all Wrexham are bad. But in the collective, I've had bad experiences with them, and I dislike them as a football club. And our own fans are trying to tell me that I should admire them. Well, no, I don't admire them in one little bit. They're doing well in non-league, but they've still got stiff competition from Notts County, who, in my opinion, are a far, far bigger club. And if they get promoted instead of Wrexham, it'll be great, because it shows that full-on money, you know, like I say, financial doping can't fucking win every time. You know, Notts County are a big club with a big support, and they've done it off their own, you know, off their own stature, their own past successes. They've grown as a football club. They've attracted that kind of support, and they would have done it on their own. Whereas you look at Wrexham, yeah, okay, well-supported football club. There's a buzz about the place because of how well they're doing. You know, yeah, you know, they could do it on their own without this injection of cash if they learned how to run a football club right, which they haven't been able to do for about 20 odd years that they've been stuck in non-league. I for one, don't like our own fans being envious of them, saying that they're miles ahead of us. One thing to remember as well is that they've still got their stadium, they've still got their infrastructure that they've always had, and they've always been able to upgrade. They didn't lose everything on one occasion, we did. And that's one thing, you know, some of our fans need a history lesson. We went out of business and ceased to exist in 1989. David Hando was the leader in restoring football in Newport. And 25 years later, we got back into the Football League. Now, we did that without injections of cash. And I don't care what anyone says about Les Scadding. Les Scadding may have been a lottery winner, but he didn't just flood this football club with cash. He wrote a few cheques here and there. But the team that got us up, the spine of that team that got us promoted, were the signings of Justin Edinburgh in the summer. You know, so the likes of Byron Anthony, Lenny Pidgley, Michael Flynn, Lee Minchell, Aaron O'Connor. You know, those players were the ones that got us promoted. Christian Jolly helped push us over the line, but who'd have said we would have done it without him? We wouldn't have done it without him. Like Danny Crowe, we already had. Robbie Wilmot, we picked up for nothing anyway. The only person we paid a fee for was Christian Jolly. And what was that, 30k? So Les Scadding wrote a 30k cheque to pay for Christian Jolly. Does that mean that we were the benefactor of financial doping? Well, no. No. It's as simple as that. So there we go. That's my feeling on it. We have done remarkably well over the last 1989 till now. It's 30 odd years, 35 years nearly. The last 30 plus years, we've done remarkably well to do what we've done. You know, we've been through the ringer as a football club and as a supporter base, but we've also had our good times. But then with good times comes the need for more good times. And when the good times stop flowing, people start kicking out. It's like a spoilt child, really. Spoilt children throw their toys out the pram when they're not showered in, you know, good shit all the time. You know, once that gravy train stops, that's when they get wound up. And the thing is, you spoil someone, that's exactly how they go. So you spoil our fan base and you get a resistance from our supporters. And some of them have got short memories and they need to wise up, in my opinion. And this whole Wrexham envy, they're leaps and bounds above us. No, they are not. They haven't played us recently, so there's no telling whether they would beat us in a football match. And at the same time, they're still in non-league. They look good for promotion, potentially, yeah. But they've still got stiff competition from Notts County, and who knows what can happen in the playoffs. Everyone thought they were a shoo-in for it last year, and look at Grimsby. Who knows? Wrexham may not get promoted, and when and where will they be then? Even if they get to League Two, is there any guarantee of success? Well, these money bag clubs like Forest Green and Salford didn't have it their own way straight away. Everyone seems to think Wrexham would just fly up into the Championship. There's no guarantee of that at all. You know, football just doesn't work like that. You know, you don't just ride a wave like that. The only club that's done it really well and organically as well, without an injection of cash, they reaped the benefit of their success, is Lincoln. But then Lincoln, their rise stopped at League One. They lost their playoff final, their chance to get into the Championship, and now they're down the bottom end of League One now. That journey is over, as far as I'm concerned, and it's up to them to maintain or move forward as a football club. There's no guarantee Wrexham are going to do anything. So, there we go. A bit long-winded, but I hope I've got my point across, and I hope people fully understand it. There we go then. Thanks for watching. Cheerio for now, as always. Up the county.